Good morning, MacLaren. Today is Friday, August 21st, 2020. The weather today, sunshine and some clouds. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible, high near 90 degrees Fahrenheit. It does look as though we're going to have a hot weekend and another hot week, but things should be much more pleasant by the end of next week. You're looking at highs in the low 80s, and the week after that, it will be down in the 70s. So hang in there, be strong. Heat wave will break soon. The sun rose this morning at 6:18 a.m. and will set at 7:45 p.m. And today, August 21st, there are a couple of interesting and notable events that I would like to share with you. So the first, some of you may remember, is that on this date, August 21st, just a couple of years ago, there was this incredible eclipse that people all over the world could see. And it was very notable because it was a total solar eclipse, and it passed across the entire United States. So people all over the United States were traveling to different places. Some of you may have traveled to go get the best possible view of it. So it was just a really neat event. We had a great viewing party here at the school, and I hope that you all remembered it. When I saw that this was the anniversary, I had forgotten all about it, and it was really fun to revisit that. So that happened on this date 3 years ago. But what I really wanted to share with you today was something that happened in Santa Fe, just down the road, on August 21st, 1680. Now, for those of you who haven't spent a lot of time in New Mexico, you should go. It's really beautiful there. Santa Fe is just a really beautiful city, and it is about a 5-hour drive from here. And so we share a lot in common with New Mexico here in southern Colorado. So there really are neighbors. And one of the most notable things about New Mexico is the presence of the Pueblo people, the Pueblo Indians. And they are notable in part because of the beautiful pueblos that they build. So this is Acoma Pueblo. This is one of the oldest continuously inhabited settlements in North America, maybe the oldest, I'm not sure. And you can see these people have been building on mesas at the top of cliffs for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. And if you have ever been here in Colorado to Mesa Verde, you have seen a place that was built by the ancestral Puebloans, the ancestors of today's Pueblo Indians. So people used to call them the Anasazi. Now we call them the ancestral Puebloans because they are the direct ancestors of the Pueblo people. And they build these beautiful places that are these towns that are these connected rooms and houses and dwelling places, all very blocky and just really wonderful to see, really interesting architecture. And the Pueblo people have been building there and inhabiting that area for hundreds of years, and they were there when the Spanish came and settled. So our story begins in the year 1540, when the Pueblo Indians were subjected to wave after wave after wave of Spanish settlers. They were soldiers and missionaries and settlers, colonists, and they were horrible to the Pueblo people. They were very violent, very brutal. We won't get into the details because they're so awful to even think about. And they were really oppressive to the Pueblo people. So they did things like made the Pueblo pay them tribute. So the Pueblo people had to work for them and give them corn and textiles, cloth. And the Pueblo felt that the worst thing that the Spanish were doing was attacking their religion and sort of restricting their ability to exercise their religion, because the Spanish were missionaries and they wanted to convert the Pueblo to Christianity. So the Pueblo were outraged by this, and the situation got worse and worse and worse, because in the 1670s, so after the Spanish had been there for more than 100 years, there was drought. So all the water dried up and people were very hungry, and the Spanish and the Pueblo. And in the middle of this, all of the tension kind of came to a head when the governor had 47 Pueblo medicine men, so these religious figures. The governor had them arrested, and the Pueblo leaders said, you cannot do this to our religious leaders. And so they marched to the city of Santa Fe, where the prisoners were being held, and the governor had to release them. So one of the medicine men who was released was a San Juan Indian, Pueblo Indian, named Popey. And Popey, who lived from approximately circa around 1630 to around 1688, we don't know for sure. Popey was so upset by what the Spanish were doing that he began gathering the Pueblo people, all these different tribes and settlements. He spent years working to organize them to fight back against the Spanish. And so he went around to dozens and dozens of Pueblo towns and settlements, and began building this network of people who were going to rebel and fight back against the Spanish. Popey told the people that once they got rid of the Spanish, once they kicked them out, that the Pueblo gods would reward them with health and prosperity, that there would be a new flowering of the Pueblo people. And so they agreed that on the same day they would all rise up and fight back against the Spanish. And so they set a date for this, which was August 11th, 1680. And they said that on that day, all the Pueblo people would rise up and fight back against the Spanish. But they didn't keep a calendar in the same way that people now do. So in order to make sure that everyone did this on the same day, Popey had kind of an ingenious system. He gave all of the Pueblo leaders a cord tied with many, many knots, all the same number of knots. And so their instructions were kind of a code that if every morning they would untie one knot, and when they got to the last one, they would be one day away. And the following morning, they would untie the last knot, and they would know on this day we will revolt against the Spanish and fight back all together on the same day. So they did it. They revolted against Spain, and this rebellion against the Spanish is called the Pueblo Revolt, or sometimes called Popey's Rebellion. And they took all the Spanish horses so they couldn't run away, and they attacked and laid siege to the city of Santa Fe. And so it was on this day, August 21st, in the year 1680, that they successfully took possession of Santa Fe. The Spanish retreated and left the city, and the Pueblo said, "Go ahead and go. We won't attack you as you are leaving." So the Spanish left, went to El Paso, Texas, and did not come back for many years. So sometimes people call it, because this was a revolution of people who were being oppressed and wanted their freedom. This is sometimes called the first American Revolution, right? Because it happened in the Americas, even though the United States of America didn't exist yet. It was still, 90 years away from even coming into existence. But sometimes people call the Pueblo Revolt the first American Revolution. And Pope is considered to be a great historical figure in New Mexico. And even today at the, oh, I put the wrong tag at the top. That's supposed to say U.S. Statuary Hall. This is in the Capitol in Washington, D.C. And all of the states have statues that represent their states. And the statue of Pope is among those that represents the state of New Mexico. Those are our neighbors to the south. And that is all I have for you today. So if it is your birthday today, August 21st, 2020, happy birthday to you. I hope you have a day of kindness, friendliness, and peace. I hope that distance learning for all students has come together today just fine, but if there have been bumps in the road, if there have been hiccups, that is okay and to be expected. We will all get there together. We will see you next time. I hope you have a great day.